Okay, there it is. The regular weekly JV Partner webinars. And I thank you very much for being here. I'm Fred Gleeck, and I will be your host. And in attendance right now, we have Avish is on the call. Avish, thank you for being here. Bill Deweese is on the call. And I have listed some of the, I should actually put here, the active JV partners. Now, for some of you who may be listening into this for the first time, because this is sort of a restart of the whole process, I want to thank you for being here. What I do is I basically coach the JV partners. We share information. Everybody tries to learn from everyone else in this process. And in doing so, those of you who are not JV partners are gaining insight and understanding by, by sort of listening in and being a fly on the wall, if you will. Again, it is really one of those big mysteries to me in life that I think our total signups as of about an hour ago were 128. I currently see 13 people. I don't get it. I don't, I don't know what I have to, I mean, maybe people, Bill, do you think it's just people enjoy signing up for things and then not doing them? What do you think?
I think you need to charge.
I need to,
when you pay to show up.
Yeah. That's what I'll do. So anyway, here we go. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, I wanted to welcome some of the new JV partners. Tony I call it Travel Drive. Tony Dragun is a travel expert, and he's sitting with me here in Vegas because he came out to spend some time here. And Carla, who I've been trying to email and get in touch with, she works in the physical therapy field. Trey Morris, who is probably was playing poker till all hours of the morning this morning, he's going to be involved on the poker side. I don't see him here yet. Bill Deweese, who's a longtime JV partner, is on, who's in the voiceover business. Avish is working with speakers and how to be funny as a speaker, and funny really, Avish, is anything, right? I guess Avish is not wanting to answer me, but that's okay. So the whole idea here is that all of these folks, including Burke Allen, who I don't think can make it, he's got some stuff going on. So all of these are the current most active JV partners. There are others, some of whom are less or inactive. So that's where we're at. Now, whoever is shuffling around, is that you, Avish?
That's me. I was getting resituated after throwing something down.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I just was made mention of you and didn't hear you, so I figured you were doing that. So did we? Now, again, you can talk to Bill about sound putting. What do you call it? Not soundproofing, Bill. What's the term?
Sound treatments.
Sound treatments for your room. It sounds like you need to go to a doctor for that problem, Avish.
The sound doctor.
You needed a treatment. By the way, I just posted on Facebook that I've got my surgery coming up in 9 days now. So June the 10th, and they gave me all the rules of the game. And they did, the second question they asked me, which was a bit disconcerting, is, do I have some kind of a living will or some kind of directive? And I was like, I thought this was simple surgery, folks. But apparently, if I'm no longer on the planet as of next week's JV partner, I do have a good excuse. So anyway, that's my schedule there. So first off, let's do a quick. The one thing that I wanted to do is all of you who may be on here for the first time, but everyone else, and Avish, I don't think you've actually seen these numbers, but I'm going to scroll down and show you. Everybody, you can see my screen, right, guys?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
So these are Mallory, Bill's very able assistant and daughter, was able to compile these numbers for me, and I wanted to share them with you here. These were Bill's numbers strictly from voiceover. He came to a webinar, one of my info boot camps in December of 2010. That year, he made $128,000 as a voiceover artist. Nothing, obviously, in the information marketing business. The first year, really, of his involvement with me, he moved up, added $20,000 to his voiceover business, and made $13,000 in the info marketing business. The next year, the voiceover business proceeded to do well, moved up to 182,000, and the information marketing business went to 48,000. The following year, 2013 was a banner year, $250,000, a little bit more than that for 2013, and info products moved to 136,000. So if you see what I promised Bill, or what I said to him, is in 3 to 5 years, I was hoping that the income he could generate from info products would be as much or more as his regular voiceover gig. So, and to date, so let's just then, Bill, and again, I know this is kind of a sore subject right now, but if we were to take this as about halfway through the year, and we did a multiplication by 2, that would equal about 126,000 for VO, and I guess I feel good about the fact that this would mean 180K, assuming everything went well. So this year, in fact, in 2014, if everything stays as is, which I hope it does not, because I'm sure that Bill would prefer to see a lot more money coming in from VO, that we now are, and Bill and Mallory, you guys are there, it now looks as if on projections, just doubling current numbers, that the VO, the instruction, the information marketing side is exceeding voiceover income. Is that, I mean, I know that's
Correct.
not good, but that's how it is, right?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, and it looks as if, you know, and I hope that's wrong, because I hope all of a sudden, because I'd hate to see you go down from 228 in the year here, because that, I mean, I know that's important to you, but you did have a few things that happened last year. The Chevrolet Find New Roads campaign, was that billed and credited last year?
Yes, that's part of the 2013 income, yeah.
Got it, okay. So again, Bill is the new, and is this for, it's not U.S., it's for Europe, right?
It's for every country in the world except the U.S.
Yeah, every country except the world. For the U.S., Bill was able to say 4 words and get paid upwards of $25,000. Is that accurate?
Correct.
Man, I tell you,
Chevrolet Find New Roads.
some of us are in the wrong business.
Yeah,
And what we computed was it was over $6,000 per word, correct?
correct.
Hey, Avish, you see why I told you may want to consider some voice work?
Yeah, no, I definitely see that.
A little bit better than the hourly rate you get as a speaker, no?
Just a little bit.
Just a bit. So anyway, I wanted to give you that as an example of, now I'm not saying that everyone who works with me as a partner has these results. That would be inaccurate. But I am telling you that these are some of the numbers that are happening. And Avish, again, I think that some of our issues related to us probably not targeting. Could you turn that up for me, Tony, so it doesn't make a humming noise? We got an AC in this room that's making some humming. But I think that, Avish, if we had maybe targeted being funny early on, maybe that would have helped us to get a little bit more of a jump start. But it is what it is. But those are just some of the numbers that are possible here. The nice thing, though, and this is what I want, Avish and Bill, I think I told both of you about this separately, which is that we're probably going to have the next meeting, a JV Partner Summit. And I'm trying to plan this so that it's a good time for everyone. But I think probably next JV Partner Summit, I'm looking at probably March of 2015. So that'll be, and I'm trying to avoid some of our dates, Bill, and so that we can make it, and it's a good time of year to be in Vegas.
Sounds good.
So I'll tell you, we'll come up with some exact dates at some point in the future, but I'm hoping, and one of the things, you know, and what I do at those is trying to get everybody together, and we exchange a lot of ideas and make things happen that way. So, well, there you have it. So let's go ahead and get into the real nitty gritty here. And Bill, let me just start with, well, let's start with Avish. Avish, actually. Avish, you put your last thing that you did was you put on the webinar. Why don't you explain to people what you did?
Sure, it was since the current slide right now is Speaking Expert, we're really putting the focus on Be Funny as a speaker. So this was a webinar called Be Funny as a Speaker. It was a really group coaching webinar class. So it was 5 weeks of webinars, 1 week. I created slides, and people came in, they watched live, or they could get the recording, they had questions, and each one had a homework assignment. And after that, there's support, which is kind of what we're in now, which, not a lot of people are. It's really easy because I keep emailing people saying, hey, if you have any questions, you get 5 weeks after the webinars to ask questions. But of course, once you offer that, very few people take advantage of it. So now I'm in the process of taking the recordings of those webinars and creating a video product out of that. So I've got 4 of the 5 recordings done. I got to do one more and then put the sales page up. So I'm hoping to have all that done, completely done, sometime next week and live for people to start buying it.
Good. And the nice thing about that, and by the way, all the JV partners have access to my account for GoToWebinar, which, Bill, you've been using for most of the events that you do, correct?
Yes, for a lot of them.
And now, are you using, I know Avish, I'm not sure if you did either, are you guys using any kind of the visual component? Bill, you first. Are you using slides or anything so that there's something other than just sort of a sophisticated teleseminar that's using?
Yes, I was. I just recently started using Google Hangouts for my small group classes. I was using the video component beforehand, but Google Hangouts lets me have more people on at a time with video.
Are you sure that that's true?
Yeah, it GoToWebinar allows you to have 6 maximum with the webcam. That's what I'm referring to, using your webcam.
And with Google Hangouts,
and that's why. Yeah, and so Google Hangouts lets me do 10.
Got it. Avish, were you aware of that?
No, but I think I wasn't getting the participants on webcam, so I just used GoToWebinar, and I created PowerPoint for all of them, so I want to have that visual component while I was going through it.
I think that it probably, Bill, what's your feeling or experience on having people on camera or there as opposed to not? What do you think? Do you think that it?
Well,
go ahead.
Yeah, there are a couple things. One, I think it kind of helps to promote a feeling of class, because the classes I do are really interactive, and we have maximum 8 people. So seeing each other kind of adds that. It makes it feel more like we're together. The other thing is, when I'm doing coaching, I like to watch physically what they're doing when they read. It helps me to better coach them, because the physical aspect really is a big indicator to me what they're doing right or wrong.
And Avish, my tendency is to think that might be a good idea for you to do as well, especially in the speaking industry. That is, there's a certain amount of, I just think it might be helpful in the future.
Yeah, I think for a different format, my goal here, in addition to doing the coaching, I usually do a lot of information and less live coaching. And my goal really was to come out of it with a good product recording. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I feel the very interactive piece wasn't going to make the type of product for this version.
I think you're right. I agree wholeheartedly. I think that for something else, and Bill, with the sessions that you're recording using the video aspect or the video element, it is pretty highly interactive, right?
Yes, I think for what I do, it's the right thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think doing a future coaching class where it's more live coaching, get the people, I think that's a great idea for the humor coaching that we do.
Let's talk about for a second, guys, because all of us will have this problem. I mean, literally, like I said, I had 128 people last I checked earlier today sign up for GoToWebinar, and I see there's 17 people on the call. What am I doing wrong? Can't be my deodorant because nobody can smell me from there.
Is that a rhetorical question?
It's not meant to be. Yeah, I really have no idea. I think that a lot of people, when they do these, have follow-ups, they give people little bonuses and tell them check this out, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, I gotta say that as far as I'm concerned, 128 to get 15% attendance, I think is, it's a failure on my part. I find
it's all speculation. I mean, it's free, so there's not a lot of buy-in. Like, I gotta make sure I make this. And because it is every week, I think it's really easy for people to sign up and then just say, oh well, whatever, I'll get next week's.
Yeah, and also I think most people probably know that these are recorded and put up on the site so that if they happen to have even a minor conflict, which is, oh, I have to go to the bathroom now, they can do it via video the following time or whatever they want.
Yeah, and I also think that it could also be that because it's just a JV partner discussion, there's no real preset promise to each webinar. Like on this webinar, you'll learn, how to build your list or how to. It's just, hey, come in and listen to us talk about our businesses. So we know that people will benefit from it, but I think when you're reading it, you don't get the specific like, oh, here's what I'm gonna get if I join in on this.
I think you have a good point there, and I think that what I'll do is I'll try and see if we can at least, when I send out the promotions for the webinars each week, I'll try and add a point or two that we'll make sure and cover as a group to make sure and do this. Now, I am trying to, and Bill, since you live right in the same city as Carla, I sent her, I sent her texts, I sent her emails, and I don't think she's on. So if you see her, tell her that we would love to have her on these, and we'll whip her with a wet noodle if she doesn't come on these on a regular basis.
Yeah. I'll keep my eyes peeled. I may run into her at lunch someday.
Yeah. You tell her that I have a hit person out looking for her.
I will.
So because I think that this is, and I know that Trey, I actually spoke to him day before yesterday, and he sometimes plays poker till ridiculous hours of the morning because that's when sometimes the best hourly rate can be achieved. And just to let you know, Bill, Trey is a guy who started playing professional poker when he was 17 years old. His mom believed him in him enough to let him use her credit card to play online. He has since gone on to, he's now been playing professionally for 6 years. He's 23 and is a really, really sharp guy who is in the process of being, he now doesn't even play using his own money. There's a company that backs him where he doesn't even have to put up his own cash, and he does a split with them. Oftentimes in poker, if you're a good enough player, you don't have to risk any of your own money, and the split he's getting right now is around 70-30 his way. So for every $1,000 he makes, he gets to keep $700, but he has zero downside. Sounds like a good idea to me, huh?
Yeah, that's awesome.
So actually, what I approached him with the last time I saw him, the night before last, is I said to him, what would it take for me to back you as a poker player? And so we had this discussion, and it was kind of interesting what came out of it, but basically I said to him, I'd really like to, and I was just thinking, I got a bunch of credit lines available. I could, because this guy's winning rate is pretty nice. And I said, look, I know there's some point at which he accumulates a certain size bankroll, as they call it in poker, in which he doesn't need anyone to back him. He just can back himself. So that's what every poker player's dream is to build up a certain size bankroll. And when they get to the point where they have 50, 60, 100, whatever the number is, thousands of dollars in their bankroll, they then can sort of bank themselves because they're now covered enough that if they have 3 or 4 bad sessions in a row, they're not broke. But anyway, so that's sort of an interesting thing about Trey. Hopefully he'll try and be on these calls. I send him a text and I send him emails, and he must have something going on that prevented him from being on the call. Other than that, so Bill, let's talk a little bit about, and I put it up here actually. I've got the Andavish, feel free to chime in here. So this is Bill's site for the VoiceOver Revolution event. And one of the things we should talk about is, Bill, the problem that we had, which I don't know if it's, and I'll show it to you here. Let's see if it's still a problem, which is the problem that we had is when we put this up, what we do is we have an intro video where Bill is speaking to everyone who comes to the website about what this event is all about. And the problem that we have was, at least from my standpoint, viewing that, which is a YouTube video, it was out of sync. So Bill, let me just show you, and let's see if it actually does it. So let's watch this for a second.
What VoiceOver Revolution, the 2-day event, what it isn't and what it is. The VoiceOver Revolution is unlike any other VoiceOver event you've ever attended. If you're looking for more of...
Yeah, I'm seeing it as already out of sync within the first 5 seconds. So I don't know what the fix is, but I suspect the fix is to try to re-record it, re-upload it, because now, Avish, I don't know if you can do it, but if you go to voiceoverrevolutionevent.com and click on the video, you may or may not find that this video is out of sync. It's out of sync for me, and I can tell you this, Bill, that when that happens to me, I don't want to watch the rest of the video because it annoys the crap out of me.
Sure. Over.
You may have to do that. Now, the other thing here, and this is for an event, for those of you who are, and Avish, just so you know, and by the way, Avish, the one in New York, you're welcome to come to if you can. I would try and make it there.
A few moments of this introduction.
So, Avish, you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, I didn't realize that was autoplay. I went to just started playing.
No problem. Yeah, it is autoplay. So you're welcome to come to that September 27th. In fact, we hope you come because I can put you to work because my shoulder, I don't know how I can, after the operation, I'm not sure how long I can pull off my ability to need help from all kinds of parties, but I'll milk it as long as I can. So
there you go.
so it's September 27, 28. Mark that on your calendar. It is a Saturday and Sunday, right, Bill?
Yes.
Okay. And then we've got LA from on the 7th and 8th of February. And one of the things, though, is, and Avish, I wanted your input on this as well. On this particular site to promote the event, the first thing you see is Bill's intro video. Now, my question is, should that go first, or should the testimonials come even before it? I have a feeling, but I'd like your input. What do you think?
I think it's a good question. I mean, I feel the stuff I've read about when page copy says this way is fine. I think one testimonial at the top is short and sounds amazing might be a good way to get people, really excited.
So if I understand what you're saying correctly, then you might consider right before this video here. You see my cursor?
Yeah.
So right before this video, you might insert here one really powerful testimonial, then have this intro video, and then have the other testimonials before getting to the copy?
Yeah, and I think you could potentially move the dates to below the video.
I agree. Bill, make notes on that. I don't think that the location and the time should be there. I think that should be down below this. I think even below, before this copy starts with "I'm writing this message," I would put the dates and the times here and the length.
Okay.
So let's make that note for Stanley. And I agree with you, Avish, that if we can find the most powerful testimonial, that we may actually put that first. Make it the box, and Bill, I've taken these notes as well. Make the box a little bit smaller than the intro video, just so it sort of says, oh, what's this? And then the intro video. So I'd make it a little bit smaller than this size, and then I think I sent you an email saying, here's what other people have to say about this event, and that's what the headline should be, above where all the main testimonials will be.
I'm sorry, what's supposed to be smaller than the intro video?
I'm thinking the first most powerful testimonial that we will put before the intro video should be smaller in size slightly than the intro video.
Okay.
Just a bit, because I want to sort of make it like, oh, what's this? This is first, must be important, but it's not as big. So I just want to have it there, but I don't want to have it like the same size. I'd like to have it a bit smaller. And then after your intro video, then you have the copy that says, hear what others are saying about this event, then have those testimonials be the same size as this one, the intro video. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool. So that's where I would go with it. And I think the copy is good. The picture, I'm always worried about. I don't know if, we should have your picture there. It might depress response rates. Just kidding.
Thanks.
Yep. Wait. And now are these videos? Oh yeah, these are the ones. You see, Stanley's got these up. Here's what others say. This should be. This is like a sidebar. No, this can't be. And let's just take a look at some of these and see what happens here.
I'm Deborah Gear, and I'm a fashion merchandiser.
And now you've been at the event for 2 days now. What are some of the What are some of the most important things you've learned, and what do you think of the event in general?
Oh my God. These guys have given me hope, and they have promised a support system. I feel so confident with what they share.
I don't like that one so far as the top one. I don't want that one to be the first one. Let's see what Jamie has.
Yeah, that was a good
My
one.
name is Jamie Hill, and I'm a full-time voice talent based out of Los Angeles, California.
And Jamie, could you tell us what you got most out of this two-day event?
The thing that I was looking most for was on the business side. I work a lot, and I wanted to see how much more I could grow my business. I really wanted to fine-tune the marketing aspect of it, and just coming here really helped. He's full of tips, he's full of tricks, and he's funny, so that really helps too.
If you were estimating how much additional money you'll be able to generate, just ballpark you think, as a result of some of the ideas you learned here, what would that be?
At least 25%, at least. And
More than what you're making now?
More than what I'm making now. I absolutely agree. He's extremely informative and really helpful.
Yeah, I might start. This is one I'd consider starting with. Avish, are you watching as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Steve Friedman, and I'm a full-time voice talent.
Steve, tell people what you've been here 2 days. What did you find to be the most helpful?
Well, let me just kind of say that when I first decided that I wanted to look into being a voice talent, which is a little over a year ago, I did a search online and found Bill DeWeese, and he's got so much wonderful content online that I was able to kind of use him as a model to learn how to kind of test the waters in voiceover.
Yeah, good stuff there too.
Hello, I'm Rogelio Camarillo. I'm a sound man and voiceover talent.
Tell me a little bit about what you thought about the event this 2 days. How were they?
I think it was great. Just the plethora of information that I received here was amazing. The networking as well was something I didn't really expect.
By the way, that's not a bad thing to put in here. The fact that the networking side of it, I don't know if we have that in the copy, Bill, but people seem to like that aspect as well.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Sarah Mitchell. I'm the British voice diva. I'm the only British person here today.
Wow, how proud you are, too. Tell me, Sarah, what did you find to be the most valuable in the 2 days you spent here?
Well, the thing about Bill DeWeese is that he walks the walk and he talks the talk. I mean, he's been doing this for 8 years and he's come from nothing and look where he is now. So I think all of us are finding inspiration.
Always have an English person in any testimonial. Let's see about this one.
My name is Daniel Buckwalter. I've been researching the whole topic of voice talent for some time. I'm starting to ramp up in the field, and I've learned a whole lot at this event. I think I've been disabused of some bad information I've picked up.
I like, the thing I like also is we've got a good, and I forget, what's this guy's name down here, Bill? This guy?
Lou Williams.
I'm a voice talent actor that is actually trained with Bill DeWeese.
And I like what we have here. I like the fact that we have a range of young, old, white, non-white. We have Hispanic, a black. Lou's a good guy, black dude. I mean, it's great. It's just, it makes us old, young, male, female, black, Hispanic, the whole thing. We want to have a representative sample, which certainly the voiceover industry has. And this is a good set of testimonials to have. Now the question is just moving them into a more prominent position and putting them in the correct order. I might actually go with Jamie's up at the top before we get started. Although 80% of the people in the voiceover business are male, do you think that's the wrong move? Either of you?
No, I mean, she's one of my favorites. I think what she has to say is more important than whether she's male or female.
Okay, yeah, I buy that. So then, in other words, I wouldn't make it this small, but I would make it smaller than this size video. I would stick it right here underneath voice talent, the words, and then immediately below here, I would have the same size as this, each one of these, and maybe maybe we pick one or two, and then after the bullet points, put another few. What do you think, Avish? I kind of like the idea of mixing them through the copy rather than all at once.
Yeah, I think also mixing with the main copy, I think it's really easy just to scroll past without even really realizing they're there.
So you're suggesting? Do you like the idea of having them in the copy all in one place, or should we scatter them?
No. I like sprinkling them through the copy, but yeah, in the middle of the copy as well, and not just in the sidebar.
Got it. Now, should we keep them on the sidebar as well, or should we just have it in one place?
I'd probably take them out of the sidebar. They'll be bigger. They'll be easier to see.
That's
and
right.
even if people don't click on them, they'll know they're there. They'll be like, wow, he's got a lot of testimonials.
Now, Bill, the other thing, and Mallory, since you're there, let me have you do this. I would say here where it says, here's what others have to say, what I would do there is I would compile a bunch of written testimonials and have those scroll down as long as far as you can go here. So in this burgundy,
you just have general written testimonials?
Written testimonials that go all the way down this burgundy block. Not Ron Burgundy, of course, but burgundy. Yeah, I would do written testimonials on this side, and then I would do the video testimonials scattered in with a copy, and one of Jamie's slightly above. So I don't know if I'm giving you, good direction on how to do this, but that's what I do.
Okay.
Okay, so that's now again. I think this is a good template for how to do these. And Bill, once we have you sort of formally launched? I guess I saw that one email that went out.
Yeah, this morning was my first email.
Yeah, and I would just start, as soon as maybe wait for a little while. Let's get these changes made. Have Stanley do them, and then just like. I would just mention it, virtually every time you're on anything.
Right. Okay.
And so now, Avish, any progress made on Be Funny as a speaker?
No, other than what I told you, kind of working on getting that product piece ready. I think at least in the beginning, I haven't really done much with the site at all.
Okay.
So I know this needs to change to a welcome video, and I can take the articles that are on Speaking Expert that are about being funny and move them over to here.
Yeah. Is there anything support-wise that you need from me?
No, I think we're good with as far as what you I just had to kind of do the work. So.
Gotcha. Okay. And it was Avish's birthday a couple days ago. Happy birthday, by the way.
Oh well, thank you.
What day?
He's May 31st.
What's that?
What day?
Saturday the 31st.
Oh, mine's on the 30th.
Oh, well, happy birthday to you as well.
Oh.
Thank you.
There we go. Next time we'll have a little, we'll have a group event.
There you go.
Okay, so that's, I think that's all good. What was I going to do next? Oh yeah, Bill and Avish. This is one of the things I think that you and I, on your side, should be speaking for us, shooting for as well. I don't know if you've seen his recent numbers, but Bill Deweese channel. He now has 5,401 subscribers to the YouTube channel. Yeah, it's pretty impressive. And so, and Bill, as I recall, that's also, as far as we know, the greatest number of people, correct? In anyone sort of in the voice over training business, correct?
Yeah, I've looked at all the other voiceover coaches. I have the largest channel that I'm aware of.
Got it. And that does not include Avish his in-house list, which is about 3,000, correct?
Correct.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, so we've got about 8,500 people total that we can get to. And again, the goal here is to, he has Bill has an extremely high sort of subscriber value number. If you look at his numbers in terms of total revenue, he generates, like I always used to say, that each person on your list is worth between a dime and $1 per person per month.
Yeah.
And Bill is definitely on the high end of that range. So let's just say you had 10,000 people on your list. Well, let's use this month as an example. But again, it's kind of a little unusual because we did a little special sale. But if Bill generates even $5,000 or let's say $8,000, make it really easy, $8,500 in a month from the list that he has. When I say a dime and $1 per person per month, per month. He's on the very high end of that range. He's generating about $1 per person per month, and that's that's where you want to be. So something's going right. And now that Bill has, and remember, Bill, when we were worried that we didn't have enough product, now we got plenty of product to sell.
Right.
So now the goal is should really shift from creating product, which we're going to do automatically with the seminars, and we're moving from that to the whole idea of just concentrating on getting more people onto the list, and whatever means we have to use to do that. Bill, one of the things that Tony, who's here with me in Vegas, the travel, by the way, his site is, and everybody should see this, TravelScrooge.com. So if you go to TravelScrooge.com, we have the current version. This might be revised, but gives you an idea. Bah humbug to overpriced travel. Kayla, by the way, is doing a redesign of the character here on the left. And
is that a picture of you?
Yeah, that's when I'm feeling good. I was actually the model for that particular shot. It was the hair that didn't match. So what happens here is that it's all about how to get a lot sort of it's a whole system, and we're dividing it up to cars, rental cars, air travel, hotels. Those are the primary categories, and then vacations maybe is a separate section. But the whole idea here is to show people how to get travel cheaper and how to specifically get really high-end luxury. Bill, you'd like this. How to get the high-end luxury travel at a really, really reduced rate. And I'm sure that Vicky would appreciate that.
Yes, she would.
And so we're going to work on that, but it's something that all of us as JV partners can benefit from his knowledge and expertise, just as he will benefit from ours. And what I'm going to do is I want to make sure that everybody has everyone else's email address. So I'm going to circulate to all of you guys the individual email addresses for all the JV partners, just so you guys have them. And that way, it's something that something I think is really, important and valuable for us to sort of exchange ideas. And these JV partners will be the place. And I'm saddened that we were unable to get Carla and Trey onto the JV partner event today. But this Wednesday, every Wednesday for an hour, I think it really is pretty valuable to bring up sort of issues and problems and just knock them around. So with that being said, Bill, anything that we can do to help or support you in anything that's going on?
Well, thank you for asking. I can't think of anything specifically. I know the big push lately has been to get this website up for the event. So the feedback is very helpful. I'll pass that along to Stanley. Beyond that, nothing particular that I can think of.
Okay, then the other thing that I think you should be concentrating on, and I was about to say this until I interrupted myself with my own train of thought, is you should be looking, Bill, considering options where you can speak at various continuing education events. Tony does this extremely successfully. His model, one of the things he's done is he's found a way when he speaks at these continuing education events. Let's just assume that they, the actual fee that they give you is equal to zero, because it actually might be, but they give you something that's worth about nothing in terms of actual compensation. I've done a lot of these myself. So what you have to think about is if your average customer bill is worth $1 per person per month, I mean, it may not sound like a lot, but if you were to occasionally give talks in Chicago, which I know is a pretty big drive for you, but in the local area, you may want to look into and have Mallory look into the various continuing education opportunities, whether it's there or in Joliet, in Chicago, in some of the burbs. I wouldn't want you to be doing this like every week, but maybe once a month, because the difference between someone that you capture from a web-based, whatever, that the level of connection there is much lower, and the level of involvement, the level of spending will be much less than someone you meet face to face. So in the event that you can find a way, and then by the way, Bill, one of the things we can do is we can tape these and they become products as well. So let's just say that in Joliet they had a continuing education center where you could do a class on how to get into the voiceover business and succeed without really trying. And it was a one-time 3-hour class from 6 to 9, 3 Thursdays from now. You drive to Joliet, you give the class, and out of that class, let's say 30 people show up. Those 30 people, presumably we're going to get all but a couple of them on the list, and some of them will buy something right there. But those people will be very, very valuable, probably more valuable than the people that you got on your list through other means. So that's your concentration right now, Bill, I think, in addition to sort of doing some of the live events, is in terms of marketing is just to let's enlarge the size of the list, A, and B, increase the number, increase sort of the closeness of the list by doing things in a live venue if possible on occasion. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I hear you. It's interesting that you say that. There's actually a company out there, a competitor company, I think it's suchavoice.com, that actually holds these kind of evenings at community colleges all over the country. And I'm not sure logistically how they do that, but that's how they recruit their students into their program.
Yeah, well,
and my guess is they recruit locally in different markets for people to do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that, obviously if they're doing that and that works, then what happens is that if you come in and do a class, especially if they've done one there, and we can have somebody say, oh yeah, I took that class, and boy, Bill DeWeese's is just so much better. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Which obviously we know it will be, so,
Well, clearly.
Yeah, not to portray a terrible amount of arrogance, we're just being realistic here. Avish, I think that, in your case, now that we have a few products, and how many total products, Avish, can we sell to someone in the speaking business at this point?
I think
4 or 5.
I mean, aside from the one that can kind of be, there are a few like package ones that really are one product, but we give people the option to buy individual pieces. You don't count each individual piece. I think we have like 7 different things.
Yeah, and so as far as I'm concerned, we've got plenty of product. Bill, you've got plenty of product. Now the situation is all about just increasing the list size and making sure it's a targeted list. In our case, Bill, this is one of the things that Avish and I have talked about, and we've kind of regrouped because speaking is just a little bit too broad. So, well, actually, we've made it narrower but broader at the same time. So now we're talking about how to be funny as a speaker, which probably in some ways enlarges the market, but it's more specifically into Avish's wheelhouse, which is, being funny. I mean, when, of course, we know that off stage he's depressed and suicidal. But that, as far as for the people who are, seeing him, they think he's very happy. And I think that, Avish, that our concentration, again, this allows us to tap people of all different sorts. Avish, what about you? Any comments, questions, ideas, thoughts, anything you need help on?
I think we already talked about it. I'm hoping before the next webinar I have this kind of sales page and product and everything live, and then we can talk kind of about the next steps after that.
Good. Now, every once in a while, you know what? In this case, do you guys mind taking a few questions from whoever's online?
No.
Okay, so here, folks, if you are now, you go to your chat window. If you have any questions on anything we've discussed, whether it's for me, for Bill, or Avish, you can address it to each of us individually if you want, or you can just put the question out there in general. Feel free to go into your chat window in the GoToWebinar control panel and put in a question. I'll take, we've got about 15 minutes left for the total hour here, so if you have any questions, now is the time to ask.